Yeah. And my dad was trying to introduce me to, adult music, get me to wean me from the Beatles and all that stuff. And he would take me to hear Bobby Short. Bobby Short was an absolute institution in this country when jazz was still America's popular music. And we'd go there, and it was a beautiful, elegant room. Of course, it's New York, so it really feels like the big city. And here's this gorgeous room with a mural, and there's Bobby Short. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, I really didn't get Bobby Short. I really didn't get him. I loved the tunes, and I could tell he was a good player and everything, but he was a little too mannered, kind of, for my taste. But it didn't matter, because I was sitting there with my dad, just the two of us, and nightlife in New York and all that kind of stuff. When Bobby Short left, and he had been there for many, many, many years, is that Cole Porter's piano? Is that what yeah. I think Cole Porter was living in the Hotel Carlisle and left his piano to the hotel. So when Bobby left, there was really nobody to fill his shoes. They tried bringing in a few people, but nobody was the big entertainer and kind of had that coolness, all the factors. And they stumbled across this young guy from Texas. I mean, I don't know how you get to the Cafe Carlisle from Texas, but here's the route that this guy took. He was 19, he left Texas, he went to New York City, and he got a job with Burt Bacharach and Hal David. Now everybody knows those names. They had probably more hits than any other single writers in the 1960s. And while he was there, he worked on Walk On By and all those great Dionne Warwick hits. And he brought up another Texan to do a song called Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. What was that guy's name? B.J. Thomas. He brought him up, and they won an Oscar for that song. So that's pretty good for just a kid. So then he comes out to L.A., and he becomes a music, what do they call it, like a music supervisor for movies and TV and stuff. So he's responsible for putting together all the music. And he's doing a movie, you'll know the movie, with Steve Martin called Father of the Bride, I think it was. And there was a wedding scene, and so they said, okay, get us the right kind of music for this wedding scene. And not only did he pick the perfect song, but they needed just a temporary recording so they could do the editing and that kind of stuff. So he just did a recording of it as a favor, and they loved that recording so much. And if you remember that song, it makes you cry every time you hear this guy sing that da ba da 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 da. What's that song? The Way You Look Tonight. It's just the most beautiful song. And because he was the singer in it, it kind of ignited this career for him. And he ended up producing his albums, these great albums of standards. He did albums devoted to Burt Bacharach and Hal David, had all these hits. And one of the oddest things that he does is he's a jazz DJ here at K-Jazz. So think about all the things that I've mentioned. Comes from Texas, goes to the big city, right away gets Bacharach and David, helps produce all those great hits. And then he ends up coming out to Hollywood, and he does this song that is so special. It's the most memorable scene in the entire movie. Wins an Oscar for that, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. And then, when Bobby Short's gone, the Carlisle, 36 years ago, asks him to fill in for the holidays. Most important time of the year for the Cafe Carlisle. They ask him to come in, and for 36 years, he's been filling the big shoes of Bobby Short. So you've probably already guessed who I'm talking about, but I'm thrilled that he's here tonight as our guest. Give a big round of applause, Mr. Steve Tyrell. Raise your hand, man. They don't know. Yeah. He's so good. He's not going to remember, but I was on the board of the American Heart Association. We did a gala, and we had that gorgeous actress who played, remember she played this crazy woman in Monster? She's South African, really. Yeah, yeah, Charlize Theron. And I got to meet Charlize Theron, but what was more exciting, my sister-in-law came with me because Steve Tyrell had agreed as a favor to the Heart Association to sing some songs, and my sister-in-law was like, oh my God. So I had to spend the entire night taking her over to meet Steve Tyrell and so all that kind of stuff. That happens to him all the time, so you can't remember that. Then we've got a guy, now this is a little more esoteric if you're not a real jazz hound. So this is a fellow who graduated from Venice High School. This would be 1971? 1970? 1970. And in his senior year at Venice High School, the Venice High School Jazz Band wins the Hollywood Bowl Battle of the Bands. It was a big deal in those days. And the next thing you look at him, he's this skinny kid with a huge smile on his face. He's playing in the Count Basie band. And I've looked at those YouTubes, and Count Basie looks like he's never had more fun than when he watches this bass player. Bass player always has this big smile on his face, and the music is just fabulous. And there used to be a scholar when jazz was taken really seriously named Billy Taylor. He was a great piano player, but he was looked up to by anyone who had important questions about the music. They'd ask Billy Taylor. He had these big, thick glasses to make him look smart. He was smart anyway. And this gentleman has really, in my opinion, has filled that void in jazz, because not only is he a great player, and he leads the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Band, which is probably the most important big band in the country now. But he is an absolute scholar of the music and is probably the most generous musician in the business. I asked him once for a lesson. I was so excited. My wife was out of town. I had to wait till she was out of town because I just couldn't think about being married and taking a lesson from this guy at the same time. So I waited till she was gone, and then I calmed myself down. And he responded to my email, "Your greatest fan," and signed his name. I mean, and he wasn't being sarcastic. I don't think he's ever been sarcastic. He's been playing a lot with Diana Krall. He just, Paul McCartney's album of standards, Kisses on the Bottom. Paul McCartney. Don't you think Paul McCartney could get any bass player he wanted? And he got this guy. So here in our midst, please give him a warm welcome, the great John Clayton. I talked to John. In fact, I didn't even talk to him. He was so busy that we couldn't find time to talk on the phone, so we were trading emails. He said, I'm in the car. I'm on my way to play at the Hollywood Bowl. I could talk to you tomorrow, but I'm driving up to Monterey to play the Monterey Jazz Festival. So let me try to call, that kind of thing. And in John's band, and John could get anybody. His brother Jeff is one of the great alto sax players in the world. He's got really high demanding tastes. And he picked a sax player for his band that is really a cherished sax player in this town. He started out with the Ray Charles Band. And when I first got a chance to play with him, I was so excited because I'd seen him in concert. It was my first time playing with a big cheesy guy. And so I said, well, who's the artist that has made the biggest impression on you, that you've loved playing with the most? And he said it was Ray Charles. 7 years with Ray Charles. And that's all the more impressive for the other artists with whom he's played. And that includes Frank Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Diana Krall and B.B. King. And just, again, people who have the stature and the resources to hire anybody, and they picked him. They pick him for his sound, they pick him for the attitude of his playing, and some of them probably pick him because he's so good looking. You know, some of them, you got to admit, some of them do that. And so we've been the recipient of his music and love here for over a year, almost every Thursday night that John Clayton or Steve Tyrell has not stolen him from the Jazz Salon. And I've been grateful every Thursday night that he's been here. He comes in just like this, kind of ambles in, usually about 37 seconds before we are supposed to play. And then I'll hear his tenor saxophone go like, whir, 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 as he's warming up. And it's like if God played the saxophone, it's like he's here and he's ready to play. And so I want to turn the bandstand over now to a woman. We're not changing gears. This still involves our sax player. A woman who about a decade ago recognized that there were jazz players who had committed their entire careers to playing this music. And it really wasn't about whether they were the best of their instrument or how successful that they'd been. It was really about the fact that they had devoted their lives to playing jazz. And she wanted to recognize them. So she started a nonprofit, and she started awarding. She ran like a little rabbit at first because there were so many jazz players she loved who were older and already retired. She wanted to get them before they were buried, you know? So she just chased them down, and she got them. She's given over 140 awards. It's called the Jazz Living Legend Award. And Cathy Segal-Garcia is a recipient. Mark Massey is a recent recipient. And it's now become a feature of the Jazz Salon. This is the second time we've done it. We'll be trying to do it once a month. Would you please welcome the woman who started the Living Legend Award, Linda Morgan.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Okay. See, unlike Dave, he didn't preface why we were up here. So everyone's talking and chattering and having a good time. But if we can have your attention for a bit, just 5 minutes. This won't take long. I've been doing this work for 10 years, and it is my honor and my pleasure to always bring forth great jazz musicians and introduce them to the communities that may not know them. Tonight is no different. This gentleman, you've come here and you've watched him play. He said, he was over there watching a game. I was like, excuse me, what are you doing? I know we're surprising him, so he didn't even know. But Mr. Rickey Woodard, sir, can you come on up here with me? Please. And I'd like to see if Mr. Steve Tyrell and John, would you please join me in this honor of giving you your flowers while you can smell them. He was like, why are they here? This is unusual. They're here because we called them to say, come and help us celebrate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I just have a few tokens that I want to read off from different elected officials, and they will be my Vanna Whites for tonight. This is from the Honorable Miguel Santiago, Assembly of the 53rd District here downtown Los Angeles. Rickey Woodard, saxophonist on behalf of the California State Legislature and the 53rd Assembly District. I would like to commend you for your contributions to the world of jazz and for keeping jazz alive for the next generation. May your determination, integrity, and character serve as an example to others and make an impact as you have. Congratulations on receiving the Jazz Living Legend Award and best wishes on your future endeavors. The next one is from the Honorable Supervisor Hilda Solis of the 1st District. Rickey Woodard, from the Jazz Salon Jazzabration, with sincere congratulations and best wishes. The Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles does hereby join in your celebration. And this one is from the Councilman member of the 14th District, Mr. Jose Huizar. Rickey Woodard, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, Council District 14, and the Jazz Salon Jazzabration, I am proud to present the certificate of recognition to you for your contributions to the world of jazz and for keeping jazz alive for the next generations. The Honorable Mark.
Yeah, Rickey.
So I wanted Steve Tyrell and John to say a few words about you because they came all this way to be with us tonight to help celebrate you and give you this Living Legend Award.
Congratulations, man. We all love you. You're one of a kind. You're one of the most soulful people and one of the most talented people that I've ever met. And I'm honored for you to play music with us. Rickey plays from the balcony of his head to the basement of his feet. And everything in between comes out when you play, man. And everybody feels it everywhere, and you're just such a beautiful cat that you deserve all good things, brother.
Congratulations, Rickey. Yes, sir. You know what? This gentleman right here, when a person writes, a composer, arranger like myself writes, it's our pleasure to not write for the instrument. So I don't write for a saxophone. I don't write for a trumpet. I don't write for a piano. I write for the person, and the person's voice that's in my head, the sound that's in my head when I write for a tenor saxophone is always Rickey Woodard. And what a joy it has been to write for you and have you breathe life into those black dots that I put on a piece of paper. Thank you so much. You know I adore you, and congratulations.
We're going to take a photo op after you give a couple of words that you'd like to say as well.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for being here, and this is really, truly a great surprise for me. I have to give thanks to my father, James Woodard, for getting me started, and the great Ray Charles for many years of just being in his band and just being floored every night. Steve Tyrell for letting me join his band, John Clayton for letting me play in his band, David Ross for letting me play in his band, and thank all of you for being here, and this means a lot to me. I'm totally surprised, and thank you all for being here, and thank you.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you so much, Rickey. We wanted to make sure that this day was special for you. We'll get a photo op, and then we'll return to the music.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, it's just an old sweet song that keeps Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, come on, Rickey, Georgia, a song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Other eyes reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly. Still live peaceful dreams. I see the road leads back to you. I said, Georgia, oh Georgia, just an old sweet song that keeps Ricky on my mind. Come on now, brother. Rickey Woodard. Come on, John, you play something. John Clayton. All right. Yeah. All right. John Clayton. I said, Georgia. Oh, Georgia. A song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Let's go to the bridge. Of the arms that reach out to me, and other eyes smile tenderly, but still in peaceful dreams I see the road. It leads back to you. I said, Georgia, oh, Georgia. No peace I find. It's just an old sweet song that keeps Georgia on my mind. I said just an old sweet song, yeah, keeps Georgia on my mind. All right. Thank you very much. It's all yours, Rickey.
Steve Tyrell, John Clayton, Mark Massey, and little Rickey Woodard, a jazz legend. Wow, man, only at the Jazz Salon. What a magical night, and what a treat for me to sit in the audience and hear you guys all play together. And Rickey, the sweetest thing for me was when you came up to me afterwards, you were almost in tears, and you said, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And I was so thrilled that we surprised you. You deserve it so much, Rickey. Everybody adores you and your playing. Thank you, man. Thank you. Cathy, do you feel a little bit like W.C. Fields after the kids have done all this stuff on the stage? Okay, come on back up here. Cathy Segal-Garcia, everybody.
Well, that was pretty exciting, and thank you for that great song, John. Also, your great playing. I think I want to do something real jazzy. Okay. How about Cherokee? Key of F. I like to do it slower than Charlie Parker. This song was written by Ray Noble as a ballad for the movies. Turned out to be a really fast bebop song. My Indian warrior, since first I met you, I can't forget you, Cherokee sweetheart, child of the prairie. Your love keeps calling my heart, enthralling Cherokee. Dreams of summertime, of lover time gone by. They throng my memory. So tenderly I sigh, my sweet Indian warrior. One day I will hold you in my arms. I'll fold you, Cherokee. Abu Bailey lady. Whoop away. Whoop away, yo. Ba-woo, da do, da da do, ba-woo, ba-ba, yo. Ba-ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-woo, ba-ba-woo, ba-do-do, ba-woo, ba-woo, da-da-woo, ba-da-woo, wow. Ba-do-da-da-boo, ba-woo, ba-ba-woo, ba-woo, la-da-da-da-woo, ba-bo, ba-bo-ba, ba-ba-ba-bo, ba- ba-woo, ba-ba-blah-blah, ba-woo, ba-do, ba-go. Yeah. My Indian warrior, since first I met you, I can't forget you. Cherokee sweetheart, child of the prairie, your love keeps calling me. My heart is enthralling. Cherokee, dreams of summertime, of love and tongue I'm go by. Throng my memory so tenderly. My sweet Indian warrior. One day I'll hold you in my arms, I'll fold you. Cherokee, Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. It's fun. It's really fun. Thank you. So let's do, how about a ballad?
Yeah.
A ballad, like If You Could See Me Now?
Well, that's not what I would.
You were picked Skylar?
Yeah.
Okay, A flat. Skylar. A flat. All right, we're going to do one of Dave's favorite songs.
This is a song written by a sandwich. And you don't find that happening very often.
That's so true.
Yeah. And he got did Johnny Mercer write the words to these? I think so, but I'm not positive. But Hoagie Carmichael wrote the music, and it's just one of the prettiest songs I've ever heard. And I first heard it sung by Linda Ronstadt. Tells you how young I am. And
don't tell the whole story.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay, and I would like to dedicate this to a friend of mine who I'm still feeling around. His name is Jack LeCompte, one of the best drummers that the city has ever known. He was from Philadelphia, and a great human being, lovely spirit, loving, very loving. It's for you, Jack. Skylark to say to me? Won't you tell me where my love can be? Is there a meadow in the mist where someone's waiting to be kissed? Oh, skylark, have you seen a valley green, green with spring, where my heart can go a journey over the shadows in the rain to a blossom-covered lane, and in your lonely flight, haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful music, faint as a will-o'-the-wisp, crazy as a loon, sad as a gypsy serenading the moon. Oh, skylark, I don't know if you can find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there? And in your lonely flight, haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful, wonderful music, faint as a will-o'-the-wisp, crazy as a loon, sad as a gypsy serenading the moon. Oh, oh, skylark, I don't know if you can find these things. But my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, let's do Sermonette. Sermonette? 452. Oh, 452. Okay, you hardly hear this song done. Written by Cannonball Adderley. And it's called Sermonette. It's a great song. I heard me a sermonette. Have you heard it yet? With that soulful message that you won't soon forget. Tells about real true love. People lost sight of through their sinful living in their scorn in heaven above. Tells you to love one another, and each man is your brother. Live right, 'cause you know that you reap what you sow, so to have no regret, and to find what you're missing, bow your head and listen to this sermonette. I heard me a sermon that, have you heard it yet? Well, that soulful message that you will not soon forget tells about real true love, people lost sight of, where there's sinful living and there's scorn in heaven above, tells you to love one another. Each man is your brother. Live right, 'cause you know that you reap what you sow, so to have no regrets, and to find what you're missing. Bow your head and listen to this sermon. Yeah. Bow your head, yeah, and listen. Bow your head and listen. Bow and listen to this sermon. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sermonette. Whew, I love that song. Thank you. Shall I announce him? Okay.
So we have a dear friend. Let's see. Who? Oh, Linda. Oh, they're gone. An old high school classmate of Linda's showed up here tonight. You guys hadn't seen each other? Linda Morgan. Isn't that Linda? Oh, it's not. Oh, I can't even see without my glasses on. Hi, Linda. Oh, is your classmate still here from high school? Okay. But anyway, that was sweet. So my high school reunion is next weekend.
Oh, no.
And it's a big one, folks.
What is it?
150, no, 50 years, 50 years. And in the audience tonight is a kid, a gentleman from my class, whom I knew in those formative years. He was a terrible influence. It's taken me most of the intervening years to kind of recover from the influence that he had on me. And he asked if he could, I asked him if he'd be willing to give you just a small taste of the kind of human being he is by coming up here to read a poem. Now, yeah, right? Please welcome up Mr. Carey Peck. Come on, Carey. Yeah. Now, I've got to warn the younger people in the audience. Do we need any kind of disclaimer based on profanity, or it's all positive? I see. Well, his idea of positive may not be as positive as you think.
Whoa, whoa.
First one's Bukowski. How's your heart? During my worst times on park benches and in the jails or living with bad women, I always had this certain contentment. I wouldn't call it happiness. It was more of a inner balance that settled for a little more than whatever was occurring. And it helped in the factories when relationships went wrong with the girls. It helped through the wars and the hangovers and the back alley fights and the hospitals. To awaken in a cheap room in a strange city and pull up the shade, this was the craziest kind of contentment. And and to walk across the floor to an old dresser with a cracked mirror, see myself ugly, grinning at it all. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. There's no other way. 8 to 10 poems a night. Behind me in the sink are dishes, haven't been washed in 2 weeks. Beds unmade, sheets need changing. Half the lights here are burnt out. I have replacement bulbs, but I can't get them out of their plastic wrappers. And it gets darker and darker. In spite of the fact that my old shorts are in the bathtub and the rest of my laundry is strewn across the floor, they have not come for me yet. Them with their badges and their rules and their numb ears, and them and their caprice. Like a fox, I run with the hunted. And if I am not the happiest man on earth, I am surely the luckiest man alive. This is a Sufi poet called Hafez. The sky is a great blue inverted ocean, and the stars are the fish that swim, and the planets are great white whales upon which I occasionally hitch a ride. And the sun and the light has come and burned through my skin and into my soul. There's only one rule in this wild playground. For every sign that Hafez has ever read says only one thing. Have fun, my dears. My dears, have fun. In this God's divine game. In this God's wonderful playground.
Carey Peck, everybody. We learned those poems in the 8th grade, and he's remembered them all these years. He was always an A student. I'm saying all this because his son is back here. Is Lita and your wife, Lita? Now, you remember on the 110 right here in downtown, there was this face on one of the underpasses there, this face of this artist. Her name was Lita Albuquerque. She's this world-famous wild woman, and somehow Carey Peck was able to lasso her and not quite domesticate her, but at least get her to be occasionally at home and everything. And anyway, so they're back here with their son right in the back. Lita, wave your hand. Lita Albuquerque's back there if you want autographs or anything like that. They're cheap tonight. So let's close with one of your songs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's a Cole Porter. Is it Cole Porter? Anyway, it's
Hey, Steve.
Irving Berlin. Yeah, it's Irving. Hey, thanks so much. Look at this gentleman. He has remembered the purpose of this jar. He's been able to keep that memory for the entire night and then make use of it when the time was perfect. So appreciate it. So this is an Irving Berlin song, a great old standard, and I've got the feeling that it's never been done exactly like she's going to do it. So much. Thank you very much. This woman just put $100 bill into the tip jar, and I don't want anybody to feel shamed.
No.
But if you put in less than that, you can still come up. There's still time.
Okay, this is a song that I have known since I was born. Because, my dad's sax player, listening to the jazz, Anyway, Irving Berlin wrote this song, one of his more popular songs. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart is beating. I can hardly speak, and I seem to find that happiness I see when we're out together dancing. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me all the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I love to climb a mountain, reach the highest peak, but it doesn't thrill me quite as much as dancing cheek to cheek. I love to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but it doesn't thrill me quite as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Come on and dance with me. Oh, my arms about you, the charms about you, they will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, yeah, and my heart is beating. I can hardly speak, and I seem to find that happiness I seek when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Well, I love to climb a mountain to reach that highest peak. Doesn't thrill me quite as much as dancing cheek to cheek. I love to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but it doesn't thrill me quite as much as cheek to cheek. Dance with me, I want my arms about you. The charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and my heart is beating. I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're all together dancing. When we're out together dancing. Out together, out together, out together. Out together dancing. Oh yeah, we're out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, dancing cheek to cheek. Yeah.
Cathy Segal-Garcia, Mark Massey, the living legend himself, Rickey Woodard, Carey Peck read some poetry. We had the great Steve Tyrell and John Clayton. How lucky are we? You could have paid $150 to see him at the bowl, but you got him for free tonight. What a fantastic night. And Linda Morgan was here presenting 142nd time the Living Legend Award. We're going to try to keep doing that once a month or so keep attuned to your emails. I don't want to forget the tip jar because I don't want to sound like a nag, but what happens is we go home. Hey, Billy. Now, this guy, he owns an insurance company. He is so rich, and he waits till the very end of the evening, and he puts a $100 bill right on the top, like a little pillow, right on top of all the little dollars and stuff like that. We go home, and we thank you so much. We go home, and we're not allowed to let ourselves in on a gig night. So we have to ring the doorbell. We wait. Spouse comes down. The little door opens, you know, and she says, "How much?" And man, I'm telling you, if we don't have any dough to bring home, we're in the doghouse for the night. And you don't want that to happen. It's all on you. We did our damnedest. Thank you. That was your allowance. Yeah, we really appreciate that. So on behalf of Cathy Segal-Garcia, Mark Massey, the living legend himself, Mr. Rickey Woodard, Steve Tyrell, John Clayton, who joined us, and Carey Peck, I want to thank everybody in the room for joining us tonight. Next week, Barbara Morrison. Please come back and join us at the Jazz Salon. Thanks, everybody. Good night.